Hey GV, Carley Taylor here, and I'm about to talk to you about something pretty serious: teen depression. Depression is the third largest cause of death among teens in our country. 4,400 commit suicide every year, and for every one death, at least 100 attempt. Experts say that about 10 to 15% of our society suffers from depression, and about 5% of that are teens. But only 20% of these teens are appropriately diagnosed and treated because parents or teachers may think that being hormonal or moody is because they're young. Persistent unhappiness is not normal for anyone. With all these statistics, there's quite a bit of information. Let's head out to some of your fellow GV students and see if they know the truth behind it. I'm here with Ethan McCoubry. So Ethan, how many teens do you think are affected by teen depression?
About 1 out of every 3.
And do you think they are more vulnerable to teen depression than they were 20 to 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Just more divorce and more at home tragedies.
All right, thanks. All right, so I'm here with Mr. Vagno in the counseling office. So, Mr. V, where should someone go if they believe themselves or someone else is depressed?
Well, one of the best things to do is to talk to somebody who understands depression, someone who can make sure and connect them up with the right resources. Sometimes it starts here at school with a school counselor. Sometimes it even starts with a teacher. Sometimes a good phrase is a trusted adult. So who is somebody that person or their friend can confide in or trust, and that might be somebody at school. Sometimes it's somebody in the family, and sometimes it could be, depending on the severity of it, in extreme circumstances. Sometimes it can even be an emergency room, depending on the circumstances of what's going on. But certainly anybody who's in a school setting, who's feeling depressed or experiencing some of those symptoms, should find a trusted adult and start there.
All right, and what are some common signs of depression?
Some of the most common signs are differences in eating patterns. It could be more than normal, it could be less than normal. Disruptions of sleep, meaning not very much or any, or excessive sleep. A lot of long periods of sadness, and it can be anywhere from minor to extreme sadness. Withdrawal from friends, from social events, just not wanting to be around people. There's a variety of symptoms. Those are some of the heavy ones, some of the ones that you see most commonly with people.
All right, and do you think teens now are more at risk to depression than they were about 20 or 30 years ago?
I do, and I don't know that everybody agrees with that, but I believe teens are under more stress than they used to be even 10, certainly 20, 30 years ago. Schedules are more hectic. There's more involvement, which that's a good thing, but it can also be a lot of stress and anxiety. What we see a lot more of lately is actually anxiety from just the hectic schedules. Sometimes it's difficulties in the family life of that particular student. But yes, I think life in general is more busy, and in some ways more pressure, more stress, and those are all things that do relate to depression.
Do you think it's important to educate young people about depression?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you remember the Signs of Suicide program that we have here. Basically, that is for people who are depressed. Some of those people will have thoughts of harming themselves. Some of them won't. In other words, somebody who is depressed, they may not be suicidal. But the whole idea behind that program is to educate kids if you're feeling this way or you know somebody who's feeling this way, you do not have to feel like you need to be the expert. You need to know what to do to help that person. And that program, the main idea is ACT, acknowledge that something's going on, show them you care, and tell a trusted adult. And so that's really the thing we want to have happen, because sometimes kids will rely on their friends, and that's a good thing, and it can help a lot. But the downside is friends are not trained in mental health, and so sometimes the amount that they can help is limited, and there are some people who are going to need more than that, and so that's kind of where all that comes together.
All right, thank you. The good news about recognizing and understanding depression early is that it can be treated. More than 80% of people with depression improve with the appropriate treatment with medication, therapy, or a combination of the two. If your friend is struggling with depression, remember, help is always available, and if you're ever contemplating an irreversible decision, there is a number you can call. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and in English and in Spanish. Please don't hesitate to call 1-800-273-8255. Thank you, and back to you in the studio.